What is obscurity? Well, Google defines obscure as not discovered or known about, uncertain. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong, but I don't like that definition because it has a negative connotation. I define obscure as something that not a lot of people know about. Now, that doesn't mean it's bad, and in my opinion, things that have been hidden away by the mainstream are pretty cool. So, here are a few examples of some things that I think are corking and deserve way more attention. So, my mom used to work at this gym, which was shut down a few years ago, and it had this little play area where you could drop off your kid and you can go work out. Well, one of the things I remember about this play place is that they had a PS2 loaded with a game, I don't know if you've heard of it or not, called Dance Dance Revolution? I don't know, it's kinda small. Anyways, I played the heck out of this thing, but little did I know DDR was going to be a major player in the hobbies nearly 10 years later. But let's just skip a few years to when we got another game. Maybe you've heard of it, I don't know, it's called Guitar Hero 3. And just like DDR, I loved this game with a burning passion. I got really far into the game before reaching a roadblock that to this day I still cannot get past. But, of course, I joke about these games being small. DDR and GH3 are some of the biggest games in the rhythm game genre. So, where am I going with this? Well, at some point, I found out about this rhythm game that I'm sure for real this time none of you have heard about, called OS. OS is a rhythm game just like DDR and GH3, but this one was a lot smaller than either of them. With just 2 million players, 20 to 30% of the player count of the more popular rhythm games, OS has been really cool to follow over the years. I mean, come on, how are you supposed to pass this up? Now, I could talk about OS all day, but that would make this video last an eternity, and I only have a few hours to edit this video, so I'll cut it short. I've played OS for years, and I've come to appreciate the rhythm game genre even more throughout the time I've been playing it. But we can go further. At some point, I found myself playing Bemuse, another rhythm game. Now, take a guess at how many people play this game. Is it A, 500,000, B, 250,000, C, 100,000, or D, 750,000? If you answered any of these, you're wrong. It's 500. That's it, just 500 players. But with such a small following, it's hard not to get close to a few people here and there. I mean, even the developer of the game has conversations on a regular basis with some of these people. Overall, the Bemuse community is great, and I've even found some awesome artists because of it, like Puru, who you're listening to right now. To sum things up, I've fallen in love with small projects such as OS or Bemuse because they have great communities in music. And just because they don't have a lot of players doesn't mean they're bad, they just need time to expose themselves. I sometimes stream game development on Twitch. For those of you who don't know, I make games and I occasionally work on them in my live streams. My view count is pitiful, to say the least. Just 196 total viewers at the time of this video being edited. But even with my small view count, I still stream for the fun of it anyways. Now, most of my streams don't see a lot of new people, but there was one time when this person I had never met before came into my stream, and that would change my life drastically. He went by the screen name Boblova, and he also liked game development. We talked a bit on what I was working on, something that's really normal for a game development stream. That is, until he found out I played OS. When he saw my background, he immediately got excited. Intrigued, we got in a multiplayer match together. We were about the same skill level, a pattern that has kept consistent for the 2 years we've been playing together. After a little bit of playing, we were about tied up when we decided to stop for reasons I can't remember. He gave me his Discord profile so that we could chat at a later date, but one thing to note is that I'd never really used Discord that much. I mean, I sent the occasional message here and there, but nothing too big. After meeting Boblova, however, that all changed. He invited me to a few servers, where I made even more friends, some of which I still talk to. I will never forget the time when the little boy from the internet introduced me to so many people. The date is January 25th, 2019. At this point, Bob and I had been talking for a few months. We often went on one Discord server to talk, but he had been relatively inactive for a while. Eventually, I got the reason why. He invited me to another server called Grimoire Arena Official, a server set up for an upcoming game called Grimoire Arena. To quote the developer Pyroshade, Grimoire Arena is a first-person shooter trading card game, which is for multiplayer wizard dueling. As it turns out, Bob was talking to some of the people on the server instead, so he invited me into the server so that I could join in. The game's following was small, smaller than OS or even Bemuse. With around 100 players, it was clear that this was the most obscure thing I'd ever found. But, again, being obscure isn't necessarily equal bad. As soon as I joined the voice chat, I'd gotten to know some of the biggest influences in my game dev career. Figures such as Why Not, Voss, and of course Pyros, have become good friends over the time we've known each other. And that's here to last. I figure I should explain a bit more about what Grimoire Arena is and why it's so unique. Like I said, it's an FPS TCG with wizards and spells and stuff, but when you think about it, the idea is quite different. To make things even more complicated, even though the description that Pyros has come up with is quite fitting, many people will try to think of a similar game so that they can link it to something they already know. In the case of Grimoire Arena, that's not such an easy task. That's why when I asked him what he needs next for the game, it's feedback, because there's no set path to success like the already established game genres. Either way, the game's got a ways to go before it's finished, but it's looking to be a great game once it is. So there you have it, Obscurity at its finest. If there's anything you should take away from this, it's that it's okay to be a little different, and in some cases it might be the biggest decision you will ever make. Uniqueness practically depends on ditching the mainstream, and it's our uniqueness that defines us. So, give it a try, and you might just find your true you. In the case of Jackie Chan, once he got the chance to work on his own movies, it was his big chance to show the rest of the world that Kung Fu didn't have to be an agonizing journey of revenge. And look at it, it turned out to be a wonderful movie. So, take it as you will, be a little bit different today, and you might run into something you've never experienced before.